I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you.
Hello and welcome to Sovel. Sovel is a turn-based strategy game that very much is reminiscent of Warhammer Fantasy Battles, or if you're used to kind of those tabletop battle simulators, then you'll be right at home. If not, you'll pick it up very quickly. Sovel is incredibly addicting and entirely free to play, at least for the base factions. I've put in hundreds of hours without having to cough up anything. It's also a one-man band. The developer team is one guy, so there's not really any marketing or such. The only reason I know it exists is because of quirky little YouTube videos like this. So if you like what you see, you think it's worth anyone else knowing, then hit the like and subscribe button, as sharing it around increases the chances of maybe other people getting to know of its existence. So as you've seen from the title and thumbnail, we'll be playing on the maximum difficulty as the Deepwood Guardians, specifically the Deepwood Druid. So think Wood Elves, and we're going to go down the more magic Wood Elf path. So the end max difficulty there is going to give us some extra stuff to do at the end, but that's how we're going to be running it. So we immediately come to the most important decision we'll make in our campaign, our starting 2 units. Now I say 2, in reality we get 3, however one of your units is predetermined by the character you select. So our Deepwood Druid always comes with a unit of Deepwood Archers, so there's no need to worry about it. So we've already got a ranged unit, so we have choice between Spears and Shields, Deepwood Guard Regiment, Deepwood Riders, which are light cav, or the Chariots. I'm not a big fan of Chariots. They're okay in the early game because you get 2 of them, but they really struggle later on. They kind of don't scale particularly well, so it's a choice between either the Guard or the Riders, and between those two I think I would prefer the Riders. They're light cavalry, so they're fast. They've got a hand weapon. They can fight with in melee with the spear, or they can shoot some things with a bow in the back, so a nice versatile unit there. And for our second choice, we're spoiled for choice. These are all excellent. So Stag Riders are effectively our Wood Elf equivalent of heavy cavalry, so they get incredible bonuses when they charge into things and smash through enemy lines in exchange for having no shooting. Treant, which is a giant woodman, and Dryads. Now our Deepwood Druid has a special party trick that we'll go into later, which incentivizes me to play with some of these woodland creatures, so as good as the stags are, we'll leave them. And between the two, I don't think I've ever given the Dryads a go. So as fun as the Treant is with our big stompy wood monster, I'm actually going to go with our large number of woodland sprites here. So that'll be our army. Dive into the campaign. Okay, now this is our Act 1, and as it may have guessed from the insinuation, there will be an Act 2 later. We move left to right as we move through these stopping points. We kind of go through them as we go through the battles. I'll explain what they are. I won't do them all now, but it'll be relatively straightforward. There's our armor. We have our Deepwood Druid, Isabu Riverfall, with the Isabu's arrowheads, the accompanying archers, the Silver Outriders, the Deepwood Light Cavalry Riders there, and the Dryads. Quite tough, and I'll go through what these statistics mean maybe a bit later. So we're going to go, I think we're still going to take the approach of trying to take as many battles as possible, so you get golden experience from fighting, so I can kind of see immediately the path I'm going to take. But let's not dilly-dally, kind of show off a fight immediately. Against roaming brigands. Now, at the behest of my loyal veterans of the channel who've been watching a while, ordinarily I would give a little preamble in this first battle to explain the kind of base mechanics of the game. Maybe I'll give that a pass this time. If you're interested in the truly fundamental aspects of the game, you can hit part 1 of pretty much any video I've ever produced. There's a lot of Sovel runs to see, so have a look at that. I won't really explain it here, but maybe as I play I'll kind of give some minor tips here. So deployment is you just shuffle this around. If you hold the shift key you can spin around, but usually it's not that useful. Roaming brigands will have a unit of archers somewhere, so probably there if I had to speculate. So what I'll do, to be a bit cheeky, is I'm going to hope that I can get my cavalry around and into them like that. So I can kind of go on the side there. I'll put the Dryads dead centre, and I'll put these archers behind the forest here. They are in fact there, perfect. They're going first. Now we use the X key and C key to see what we're doing. So obviously the archers can see me there. You hold the shift key and do that. I'm going to shove the Dryads forward first, with the hope that the archers target them. There's a good reason for that. I'll show you in a moment. So 10 shots with the archers getting 3 hits. And then we have a 3+ save because they're power 3, we're defense 5, we have better defense. I take 2 wounds and lose a Dryad. Not to worry though, we have a solution for that problem. Well, the reason I put these riders on the flank is because I can do this and get them right up there immediately. I still got, sadly, even with my great move speed, I can't quite catch that unit of archers in its side arc. They're too far away. They deployed very cleverly there, I'm afraid. Yeah, it doesn't do it. The only way I can possibly do this is if I'm very precise with it. Get a bit of twist and trying to get... Basically, I'm just hovering. If you hover a unit, you can see its arc. I need the majority of my unit to be in the right quadrant rather than the kind of front one, so I can go into the side. I don't think I'm going to get there, I'm afraid. Yeah, if I try and twist it all, I end up smacking into the wall. Because if I stay on, that's just not quite good enough. That's pretty good. That's probably the best as I can do. If it's a charge to the front, so be it. I'll just have to suck it up. And I have a couple of shots to fire as well. Why don't I fire my own bows and arrows into the archers? Got good armor though, they save it. Over here, now I sustained a casualty with the Dryad. I could in theory do something about that. I'm going to hold off this turn, while I'm just going to shoot my archer unit into the Imperial Swordsman. Killing one, thunk, takes an arrow in the eye. So the special trick the Deepwood Druid here has is regrowth. Heal D3 plus 1 unit, so if your Forest Spirit units, so like these Dryads here, end up sustaining casualties, you can heal them with the spell. I'm going to hold off for a moment though, because I've got plenty of uses and I can sustain even more damage before I have to worry about putting those back. Oh, we managed it. It's a flank charge. Excellent. So there's a good reason for that. I'll tell you why in a moment. Our Deepwood Chiders go in. Forward come their swordsmen. That's fine. Just have the archers come over here and shoot them again. Now, I don't think I'm quite going to be able to get into the side or anything, so I'm just going to accept the direct combat with the Dryads. We're both in each other's charge arc, so so here goes combat. So 5 guys with 2 attacks each. That's why the stat matters. So I've got 10 attacks. I've got better skill than the enemy, so I hit on a 3+. Or the results of anything but a 3, 4, 5, or 6 will hit, and the 1s or 2s fail. The enemy gets their saves. They don't do particularly well. I take 1 wound, but I've got 2 each, so all my guys are intact, and they run. If you hover a unit, you can see the wounds you sustain. So 1 rider's wounded, but otherwise we're fine. They're charging my Dryads. I'm going to counter. We're going to smash into each other. I'm going to tell the riders to continue to pursue these broken archers. They lost combat and ran. They couldn't sustain it. Okay, now that we've entered combat, I'm going to go ahead and... I can't shoot into active combat, so I'm afraid, so there's nothing I can do to help here. But what I can do, just in case things are a bit sticky over here, is I can get into their back arc. And I'm going to regrowth, heal D3 plus 1. So I'll roll a dice. The dice will get 1, 2, or 3. And then we'll add 1 to it. So the results are 2, 3, or 4. I get that many wounds back. I've only taken 2, so even if I roll a 1, I get all my Dryads back in action. The swordsman hit me, get 10 attacks, but I'm very high in defense. I'm defense 5 with bark skin, so I get a good save. I only take 1 wound. Get back. Fine, we have equal skill. And I've got good power as well. They're low number of attacks and not amazing skill, but they do make up for it with being very tough and having good power. The riders just... archers can't fight backwards when you hit a unit in the back, so there's not much they can do. Yeah, now that I can recharge them with the archers, and you can finish those off. Now, frustratingly, what's going to happen is the swordsmen are likely to deal that last wound and kill one, and then I won't be able to put on a back. So I strongly suspect the battle is going to end this turn, so I'm just going to use my regrow spell now. Put that one back to full strength, just gives us the best odds of keeping on to the extra Dryad. So Isabeau gets to fight first, hitting once. She is a wizard, so it's not her job to hit things in melee. Swords, oh, might get away with it. Hey, we managed to keep all our Dryads, excellent. Hit perfectly average there. Killing 2 swordsmen, and then the archers get to fight. With their good skill, they have good skill but poor power, so they hit well, then the enemy has good saves. Only 1 extra dies. We win, and that's enough to break them. When a surrounded enemy unit breaks, they don't get to run away, they're cut down to a man. So it's a good way of, if you're dealing with a large block of enemies, you can kill them like that, and all the archers are dead. Perfect. First battle was a flawless victory. We sustained, in effect, no casualties. The wound on the riders doesn't count. Unless you lose a whole rider, you're okay. At the end of the battle, you get a flat sum of gold, experience for your troops, and then a choice between either resting, so generate more guys or loot. So the guys at full HP will of course just take the gold, there's no reason not to. The archers, because of the difficulty we're playing on, start undermanned. I could take the gold or just have an extra one. I think it's worth a lot of damage output, so I'll just this once I'll heal to go to full strength. And then I'll take gold and subsequently. So there you go, a couple more archers. It just means you get 3 more shots every turn, every battle. It adds up to a lot very quickly, so I think it's worth it to heal immediately. Nothing else to do, just go straight to the next fight. Against Orc Scouts. So the little image on the right there will give away usually what you're up against. So there'll be a unit of Boar Riders, or the Orc equivalent of cavalry, if you want to call them that. There'll be Orcs riding vicious boars. So to counteract that, they'll be either here or here. And I'd love to charge them, so what I'd probably do is put my cavalry in the center and then these 2 units on the side. So whichever direction they try and attack from, I'll be able to get around them and probably flank with these cavalry. Just these terrain pieces are going to be difficult, but I should be able to manage it. They're on that side, so they're going to come towards my dryads. I should probably be able to get there, so I'll delay with the archers. I can force them to move first. I'm going to start shooting at these Orc warriors. See there? So I get 12 shots now rather than 9, so that's going to be a lot more effective. Forward cover. That's quite a clever move. I was hoping they would move that one first, but never mind. I can kind of preemptively guess where that unit's going to wind up, so I can sort of counteract them and put this in a position to catch them. So like this, I'm going to assume they're going to come barreling forward here, at which point they'll get beyond me and I can just charge them freely there. I'm going to twist myself like that to try and get out of any potential. I'm safe from those Orcs and they'll get out. I can shoot, I might as well scratch a few Boar Riders. They're very tough, so this isn't likely to do much, but you might do. Wow, we got really lucky. We killed one outright. They have 2 wounds each, so that was pretty unlikely. But they did exactly what we wanted. They've moved towards my Dryads, so I can get a free flank on those. Now I'm going to start moving the Dryads towards the Warriors. Ordinarily you'd think that cavalry would go on the flanks because of their fast flanking move speed, and sometimes yes, when you're up against enemy range stuff like archers, but when there's enemy cavalry involved, putting them in the middle is usually a good idea because the AI will foolishly stumble forward and let you flank them. They're menacing my archers, no problem, I can just rush this over here. I'm going to spend 1 turn here because I'm a bit worried that those riders haven't quite got the teeth to knock those Boar Riders out. So I'm just going to have you stay here in case they hold on, because you can very easily just shoot this unit in on 3+ because they're closer and they can't reach us, so just stand where you are, no reason to move around it. Now the Boar Riders, they have bad discipline, but otherwise they've got great stats, so if we can break them on the first turn, amazing. If not, the Deepwood Riders might be in for a bit of a hard time. Yeah, we did no damage, that's how good they're. So they still lose by 1 because we flanked, you get 1 point for that. And they hold. So if you did a single wound, you would have broken them there, but nope, we got nothing. That's why it was smart to leave the Dryads there to help, otherwise they would be in severe trouble now. Forward come the Orcs again, we'll just shoot them. Rolling well for their armour, but they're slowly being shot away. Now we're in charge radius. I have no interest in my archers getting embroiled in combat with Orc warriors, so we'll just move to safety. They will be on their range. Use the X key and the C keys to do that. This is going to hurt now because they're going to get all of their attacks into me. Hit 4 times and they've got better power than my defense. So, oh, I got really lucky there. I didn't actually use one. And then you've got better power this unit, so you might actually hurt them. Good. That's more than enough to break a low discipline Orc unit. It is. They rolled terribly. Orcs have exceptional stats, but if you can break them, if you can lose, they almost always run away. I can't quite charge them yet because I'm out, but we can fix that. Well, they come again, so again we can see their arc, move to safety, get to there and then turn around and shoot them. Perfect, yep. Another 2 at a time. The Boars failed to rally, so they'll just run off the field, so we don't have to care about those anymore. Just have our... No, they've only got short bows, not long bows, so they haven't quite got the range to help here, but maybe later. And the Dryads also make the way over. They ran off the field. Cowardly Orcs. We're not going to charge anything. Well, they come now. This archer unit, I was about to say they might struggle to escape, but no, we can just shoot them and then run that way. So we fire first. No, oh, 3 this time, not 2. How very impressive. And then we just come... and we're safe. Perfect, done. And we'll just get you into their rear arc there. Take your shot as well. Unless the Dryads aren't going to make it in time. There's not enough Orcs left to matter. They're routing this turn, so they would give up at this point even if I did nothing. But so I'm just going to do it. So I could recharge them and kill them, but it's not worth the hassle. We might as well just... You could just hit end turn immediately and skip this, but I was just seeing if I could shoot and kill them. I can't. Out of petty malice. No one ever said we were nice Wood Elves. Yeah, there's an Orc Warrior left. Congratulations, you alone get to survive with the arrows and corpses of your allies. Tell your friends what happened here. Again, another perfect battle, no casualties sustained. So we now amassed enough experience on our troops to begin leveling. So the Tree Thorns, the Dryads leveled. I'll show you what that looks like. So there's a level, you get a choice between these three. You can either have more of them, more skill. So the skill stat determines how easy it is for you to hit things. And then replenishment. Replenishment is if you're taking damage, you could press the button to heal, you get more healing. We obviously aren't taking any, and we've got a Deepwood Druid who can heal them mid-battle, so that's pretty rubbish. So either more of them or skill. I think I prefer the skill as an offset. And the Deepwood Rider is also leveled. So skill, gold, or discipline. The skill is pretty good for them because it also benefits their shooting as well as their close combat prowess, so I think I'll take that. And all gold for everyone. We're perfectly healthy, and then into the next battle. It's the Shambling Host. Ooh, undead, spooky, scary skeletons. Come shambling into the forest. I'll have to do something about that. Shambling Host, there's usually one fast unit on the flanks. That'll be... There's an annoying unit of... Okay, the direwolves or something, so I'll just put my units there. The Dryads, interestingly, so this terrain is a bit of a hassle because if you try and move through it, it halves your movement speed. But the Dryads are forest spirits, so they ignore that penalty, ignores different terrain, so I can put them in there and be safe. I can move around. These are a bit more stuck. I might have to do that instead to try and get them around the outside. There are the direwolves. That was easy to see coming. Okay, let's move the Dryads first. I can start moving them into the flank of these skeletons. Good, the direwolves move first. That's what I was hoping for. I'd love... Another quirk of terrain is that you can see into it with your ranged units, but not beyond it. So I can't actually declare them a target. What I'd have to do instead is move you up here. Now I can see them. Kind of get around there. Okay, so all 5 dead. Direwolves are fast and hard-hitting, but terribly fragile. And if you get any real shooting into them, they'll just buckle. And my higher skill riders here are now going to come riding around. Start firing there. Now hit on 3+ at range. These are down. So I'll have these 2 units fight that skeleton archer, and I'll have you dedicate yourself to that skeleton warrior unit. We raw outstat them, no problem, and if I sustain any casualties, we can just heal them. You first, so let's just shoot this and then back off slightly so they can't catch us. 2, 3, 4, 5. Won't take long at all to cut through the skeletons. That's more than enough distance to be safe. And you come over here and get your short range shot 2+ now, so anything but a 1 will hit. I thought now they're effective at range with the skill increase. So annoyingly this unit is locked onto the Dryads. Shall I just fight the skeletons head on? I think so, they're really not that much of a threat. Even with the charge. They get more power for charging because of the hand weapons, but it doesn't get them over my defense 5, we're too durable. We'll have a battle there. Engaging glorious combat. Wood versus bone. Okay, and then we can very comfortably just... well, we could shoot that unit to death, but what I'd like to do is do that and then probably get these into the back there so I can just... There you go, so they're all gone. And I'll have you rush around here, so if they do hold on... Well, I say if they do hold on, they are guaranteed to hold on. Skeleton warriors will never run away. Reanimated units don't suffer morale penalties, rather, when they lose combat, they just... take an extra 1 to 3 casualties, so like the 6, they lose, and then they roll a dice, and they take 3 more. So now there's 6 of them left. Wavering, I suspect after this turn they'll be dead, so I'm just going to have to use regrowth now and hope I don't lose one in the combat. Heal the healthy one. A bit of photosynthesis in action there. There we go. Hit 3 times, so as long as you don't roll badly, Ah, unfortunate, we rolled double one. We do lose a Dryad. And this is more than enough to clean up the unit. There you go. So it's a shame when you lose one because I'm not allowed to use... I don't think I'm allowed to use regrowth at the start of the next battle to put that back. I'll try as a test case, but I don't think it will allow me to. Isabeau Riverfell is leveled now, so our character is leveled. Interesting, you get interesting choice. So extra disciplines, if you lose fights you get discipline wounds, is kind of irrelevant on the character because the unit takes the wounds first. So I think we'll go with Recruiter. When we buy a new unit, or as we're about to do so, we'll immediately get a level. And then the Deepwood Archers accompanying them leveled. Reroll ones, more of them, more replenishment. We don't need replenishment, we're not sustaining casualty, so whenever we roll a 1 to hit, we can try and roll it again to convert it into a hit, or 3 more archers. I'm going to go with 1s to hit this time, because that means I get to take gold rather than having to replenish, which is useful because I'm about to go into an armory. Perfect, I got exactly what I wanted. So, I'm trying to obviously focus on the woodland creatures, because I've got the druid and he's going to be healing them a lot, so I'm definitely going to take the treant. That's going to help. The stag riders are fantastic. Chariots are a bit pants, especially because it's a mount. Why would you put a wizard on a mount? They don't want to engage in combat, so the stag riders would be good. Excellent heavy cavalry, but we'll go with the treant. Immediately gets a level because of our perk we just took on Isabeau. Replenishment, something with 8 wounds, it's defense 7 that I can heal is moot, and then going from 8 wounds to 9 wounds is a bit rubbish, so straight up to skill 5. There you go, we outclass basically all the opposition already. And we have 140 gold left to spend on upgrades. So I think we'll take predominantly... Oh, there's some really good ones here. So a hand weapon and shield on the Outriders is nice because they start... For combat, yeah, they start with hand weapon. So they've got power 4. So giving them the shield just... It's basically 25 gold to make them permanently defense 4. Which is a pretty nice increase in defense for no real penalty, which is good. And then the rest is a choice of banners. So Banners of Mists are the ones that make you faster, which is good. Banners of Mists are the ones, if anything is shooting at you, they incur negative hit penalties. Banner of Fury is +1 power, so when you charge, you hit harder. Not very good on archers, you don't really want that, so I think I'll go Swiftness and Mists on my melee unit, so that'll be these 4. So how many can I afford? 3, 6, 9, 12, and then 5, 10, 15, 20. So you need 140 all of them. So if I didn't buy that, I could have bought every banner, but I can't quite afford all of them, so that's okay. Rather, do I want to spell? Target has +1 skill. That's kind of nice, but it's not desperately needed. I can get away, and then they're not super useful. I think I'll just leave them, so let's go with the banners. Speed for the riders, so I can get into the back and flank things is good. And then probably speed and mist for the dryads, because if anything has to be shot, I'd like it to be this unit, because they can just become super durable, so like that and like that. It also, kind of cleverly, it gets these banners out of the pool, so when I go back to a shop next time, they have more interesting, better banners available to them, because the game always has to give you 3. So if you get other ones out of the way, you get some cooler ones later. There you go, we're blessed by Old Oak Spirit. A venerable treant there to help us in our battles, which is well timed, because we're about to go into an elite. Elite is a kind of a regular battle, but harder in exchange for more gold. It's Von Platen. We're going first. Okay, well, if anything has to be shot, I'd like it to be the defense 7, 8 wound treant. So I'll kind of stick you... If they had archers, they would probably be there, so maybe I'll just put you... Well, obviously, I'd love for the riders to jump onto them as fast as possible. There's no... I think it has to be this way around. I don't want them to target the archers, and I guess if they had to target, that would be fine. Now defense 4, so they can take fire a little bit more effectively. Yeah, just make it so that the treant's the closest thing. No, their artillery pieces are over there. That's annoying. They've outpositioned me there quite well. So when the artillery starts firing, it's going to blast into the dryads. Fine, I can just heal them and recompense. They'll come towards my knights. That's kind of annoying. So I guess I'll have you swing around there as fast as possible. I can't quite... The cannon's too tough to kill with ranged fire. It's not going to be a very smart way of dealing with it, so I'm just going to have you instead rush over here. Can't reach them with the bow and arrow yet. That's okay. Forward comes their cavalry. They can't reach me quite yet. There's no way to avoid the cannon. It hits anything it wants, wherever it wants, so just suck it up is the basic solution. Although with the Banner of Mist, they're going to incur hit penalties, so we're quite effective at counteracting them. Shall I try shooting at it? Well, even if I wanted to, I could, and I haven't got the range to catch it. It's quite far away, and my own treant is in the way here, I'm afraid. Is that in range? I don't know if that would count. I guess I can move the tree ant first, and that would definitely mean so we're safe. In fact, I can move you to safety by doing this. Quite fast, the tree ant can really stomp up there. It's no slouch at all. Okay, now I know I can reach the cannon. There you go, so I can get there. 5+ because unfortunately it's benefiting from cover. It's got a 3-up, so we're 1 of 5 wounds. This is going to take a while. It's going to shoot me, so I might as well save my heals when I inevitably start taking the hits. And then here, I don't particularly want you to engage the knights immediately. I've got more movement, but I'm never going to be able to outposition a knight unit, so I mean, I might as well. Would you rather just fight them than taking another cannon shot? They have equal skill to me, which is a bit unfortunate, and then they have power 4 on the charge. I'm defense 5. I should be okay. They have a lot more attacks though. Bang. But we got lucky there. So the way cannons work is they get 1 to 3 hits, but the Banner of Mist means they have to subtract 1 every time they do that. So they rolled a 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. The cannon effectively missed and did nothing. Me first. Okay, I'd love to shoot it again. I mean, I'm not going to be able to kill this, so I think I'm just going to ignore it. All of this stuff is going to get locked in combat in a moment. You're going to shoot the Dryads again, so don't worry about that this turn. Better hit rolls this time. 5, do 1 or 2 wounds. Or none, because you can't roll a single fail. And then I'll just start to get you out of the way of the cannon's arc, because we're going to run out of leeway in a moment. Once the Dryads engage in combat, there'll be nothing for it to target. Okay, you have to fight those, do you? Can't escape the cannon, so you might as well just get into charge range of that unit. You're after us there. I can probably flank that with at least one of these. So I'm curious to see, who do you think they'll lock on to? This unit or this? Well, regardless of what they choose, I can just ignore them. And because I'm a forest spirit, I can ignore the movement penalty of the terrain, so I can come running straight up here. Well, there's a risk in this, I'm afraid. You might end up being shot by that cannon. Alternatively, I could just run at it with the tree ant if they don't stop me with anything. Okay, you're targeting those. That's no problem, because I knew if they turned to face the tree ant, I'd be able to get you into their back arc. We'll shoot at them before we go in, and I'm going to charge them in the rear. 1 minus 1 again. Very lucky. That cannon's been incredibly unfortunate with its random chance rolling. Okay, so we'll have to do this. They're just going to hit us anyway. And then you're going to charge that unit so they can't bother me. Perfect. That means I'm going to have to take 1 round of cannon fire in my tree ant, but so be it. I'm going to leave myself in cover so that when it takes its shot I'll be as durable as possible. Otherwise I'll do this. Start mowing down the halberds. Yeah, they're not too durable. Do I want to move you? I could, in theory, move the archers over here to maybe hit that unit in the flank if I think it needs a bit of help. Again, it's only light cavalry, not too durable. I'll save the heal because I'm going to be needing it a lot. The 1 extra attack I get from putting it back on isn't really worth it for now, so I'll conserve my heal. They use... Oh, that's really clever. Oh, I can hit pass and force the cannon to go. Good, the cannon wastes its turn, doing effectively nothing. If I move here, I'm just a bit concerned that... No, okay, I don't think they'll be able to reach me, so I'm okay. And then you can flank the cannon. Good, we dealt with that without sustaining any damage. That's quite lucky. And we might lose this because they charged and get a lot of attacks. Oh no, we lost by 1, so as long as you don't roll really badly, as in anything but a double... 12 will be okay. And then here we've recharged, we do a whole bunch of damage. They can't fight backwards, so they can't hit back. They break. Perfect. Let's subdue the cannon. No more firing for you. And I'm just going to hold off on charging those because I can do damage from range. Stomp, stomp, stomp. They're coming for me. That's sensible. So let's do this first. I'll shoot them and then get out of the way. We roll the 1s. They go 9 becomes 10. We'll move to safety. So the upside is the archers can take their shot and then the Isabu can do the regrowth at the same time. So let's test this. I've taken 1 wound on one of them and one of them's dead. So I've lost effectively 3 wounds worth of Dryad. So let's see if I heal back. Let's pay close attention to the number I get. I get one. That should be 2 wounds, at which point it would heal the one that was injured, and then I'd have one back on half a wound. It hasn't done that, so I've effectively... You're not allowed to regrowth your way into having extra guys you've lost. So that's that. We know that definitively now. They do rally, so I have to do something about that. Just shoot them and then charge in again. Well, they've lost their charge this turn, so it should be easier for us to... No, we still lose. That's a bit unfortunate. I'm going to have to heal them again. Over here. And the Treant hits every time. They roll 5, 6, 6, 6. They take almost no damage whatsoever. That's a bit annoying. But I'm toughest now, so they had no hope of actually wounding me. They break, and when artillery pieces break, they die on the spot. The crew have fled the piece and abandoned it, so they disappear. I mean, I could rear charge that, but honestly, they're never going to be able to catch us, so I'm inclined to just ignore them. I'll just run around and shoot them with my high skill riders. I'm definitely going to have the Treant come stomping down here, because I'm going to have it rear charge the big block of cavalry and break them. Yeah, you're going to try and fail to catch me there. That's not much of a threat. I'm safe from that distance. Yeah, shoot those. 6, 4, 5. There's only 5 left. Now with regrowth, I've taken 2 wounds worth, and I could heal. I heal 2 to 4 every time I use the spell, so I think it's worth holding on to it for this turn, because if they do more damage than I heal, I could in theory get more back. So we'll just conserve our last regrowth for a moment, and then you can of course shoot this and then get out the way. Yeah, there's no way that they'll be able to catch up to a fast light cavalry unit. Here we go again. So it's the low number of attacks means I'm not really doing a whole lot. It's a draw this time, so I don't have to risk a morale check. And I can definitely heal them effectively. In you go. No charges. Comes the little trees and the big tree. We give them what for? So we shoot this now. 2, 3. There's still 2 halberdiers left. I have to run away again. Just do this. Do I use regrowth now? There isn't really much point, except that I could get extra attacks. And if I do 1 wound, I think it's fine. I think it's... Yeah, 3 go max, so we're back to max strength. The knights have achieved nothing after all those turns of combat. And the silly captain and the swordman unit still trying to catch me here. I'm going to be rewarded with being hailed with archer fire over and over again. Here we go. So still pretty low hit roll, doing 1 wound at a time. 2 hits, so unless I fail both of these, I keep my dryads intact. And then the Treant, who has better skill, he's the highest skill thing in the army, only hits twice, but power 6 does 2 wounds, yeah. Now, hopefully that breaks them. They do, and because they're surrounded, they die instantly. The enemy are routing this turn, so they've given up. They've decided that they can't possibly win, and I'm inclined to agree. So at this point, you could just skip. I'm just going to do my shooting out of very petty indignation for these silly humans. Halberdiers are dead. Ah, you rolled a 1. No damage, fine. And then we'll skip the rest. Perfect. So effectively, because we healed the Dryads correctly, this the power of the healing spell in the campaign. The campaign is all about making your way through without sustaining casualties, because then you can take as much gold as possible. If you have a regrowth spell, you can just keep tanking damage on Dryads and never actually sustain any injury. So great, so 9 of 10 is perfectly fine, so we'll just take all the gold. Now we have a choice here. The way we're going to handle it is we want to take as many fights as possible because they get guaranteed golden experience, so this path is probably the best one. In fact, you can even go down here and take another elite. Elites in Act 1 are really good because you get a lot more gold, and they're not really that much harder than the standard battles, as you noted. We weren't exactly sweating spinal fluid or tree sap rather to get through that compared to normal fights. So I think we'll go down here, take these 3 rather than these 3. We get a random event. I kind of show. So random events are impossible to describe in advance. They can be almost anything, but we got a super good one. Holy Gift. So select a unit and bestow upon it a blessing. Ask for protection. Units rerolls fail damage save. So whenever you would take a wound because you failed to save, roll the dice again and you get a chance to convert it into success. The choice for us is going to be between either the Tree Thorns or Old Oak Spirit. So Old Oak Spirit is technically, I would guess, the way to go. It makes it borderline invincible. Your toughness 7 with 8 wounds, re-rolling all your saves. So nothing's ever really going to bother you. I think that it's pretty much tough enough, and if it does take a wound or two, I can heal it with regrowth. So I'm actually going to give it to the Dryads. I'm going to focus on these this one because I'd like to show them off a bit. So there you go. We holy gift our Dryads with Divine Protection, reroll failed damage saves. Very pretty. So they're even better as a doable tanking unit than they already were. Show that off immediately in the next elite. Yeah, that's Korgak. What a charming looking fellow. Me first. I get to roll dice at the top there. So there'll be, I think, let's see, I'm stretching my memory here. There's a unit of trolls, unit of boar riders, and 2 units of orc warriors in the middle. How would I want that handled? Well, I would like, if I had the discretion, the Dryads will come up the middle and fight the orcs in front. They could just beat them, no problem. And then I think the Triad should be able to best the trolls. I could have... The riders could either dance around them, or I could have... I'd like the riders to flank wherever that unit of boar riders is, so whatever flank they put it on, so it'll be either there or there. So you can ignore, I think, the archers of the scout ability, so like the forest spirits, they also ignore difficult terrain, so yeah, just stand there. You'll go in the middle to flank into either direction, and then it's going to be a bit of a mess here, because I need to guess which side the trolls are on. Not the end of the world. If I get it wrong, I can just hit them with archers over, or send the Dryads into them, so maybe just like that. Oh, it's a chariot rod. That's even better. That's much easier to deal with. So yeah, just these orc warriors and brutes, and then these in the flank are the problem. They're nowhere near me, so I'm just going to go ahead and start chipping away at the orc brutes here. Target the smaller unit first, because if you can kill it outright, then it gives you a big advantage in terms of initiative. The less units the enemy has, the more they have to move stuff before you do. So I think I'd like the Dryads to target that one, because they can easily defeat that in a straight fight, while I have you shoot that one to death. So if you start making your way that way. Don't move too far this turn, because they're going to obviously have these come charging towards me. The Treant can defeat either of those, no problem, so I'm just going to wait for them to get closer. I'm actually going to have you back away for a turn, because I don't want you to be caught by any of those. Yeah, otherwise, if I was still there, definitely would have caught me there. The trolls are going to come running up here. I might be able to squeeze a flank charge into this. No, I think the woods are going to stop me. Problem is I can't see. In order to get this, I'd have to stand here, come all the way out there, and then to it. So that works. But I think the trolls will be close enough to catch me. Worth a go. If I have to fight the trolls head on, that's fine. I don't. I position just right so I can flank the boar chariot and ignore the trolls. There's like the boar riders, but there's only 2 of them rather than 5. Yeah, that's an easy win for the Treant. Where'd you come? Yeah, you're in prime being shot by archer position there. 10 and 12. This isn't going to take long at all. Halfway there already. Forward you come. I'm definitely going to have you. Oh, I would have loved. I think if that unit wasn't there, they would have given me a perfect flank into that orc warrior unit. But if I tried this, what would happen is they would flank me and I wouldn't be able to move. If you're engaged in the side like that, you can't legally declare a charge with your unit. So instead, I'm just going to have you go up and hit them head on. Trolls are going to start coming around. It's going to take them a jolly long while, in which case the Treant's then going to turn around and hit them. So I'll have you take a parting shot at those first, before changing tack and moving over here to distract the trolls. You are slowed down by the forest, I'm afraid, so this is going to be a bit of a problem movement-wise. The Treant hits 4 times, does 4 wounds. Hit back once, unless they're, I think, yeah, anything but a 1. I rolled a 1, hilarious. With single entity monsters like this, you heal back a wound for free at the end of each battle, so as long as I take no more, there's no need to use the healing spell, you'll just be as fine as you are. Yeah, the Dryads can take the big block of orc warriors head on, no problem. I could even send the Treant there, but I'd rather have you come help with that. Where'd you come? That's brave of you, orc warriors. I don't necessarily think this is going to end well. Then just get out of the way. Just a bit further, why not? Oh, careful. I don't like going this way because I'm going to get stuck on that annoying wood, so I'm just going to do this instead. Be careful to actually escape the charge radius. Nothing to heal, you can't get that one back. Tonight they've aggroed onto my Treant, so what I'll do, obviously not interested in engaging that way, is I'm going to start moving you this way. And I might be able to squeeze a shot into that if I can finish off the 1 wound on the chariot. I can, there you go, it's convenient. And I'm going to have you come here. Hopefully they eventually turn around and fight that unit. just going to have you step this way. There you go. You can only engage one of them. One of them will eventually hit the unit in the back. So the Charles, so I get 4+ save because we have equal power and defense, but I get to re-roll it because I'm divinely protected Dryads. Okay, it doesn't really matter when you make every save the first time anyway, but I swear it will matter later on, I promise. They break immediately because Orc Warriors are cowards. When they lose a fight, they run instantly. I'm just going to keep charging them and hitting them. They're not really a threat to me. Still after me here, or just I could probably just get there and then run to safety. Yeah, so you can test the water, so that will allow me to shoot them, and I've definitely got the movement to escape if I need to. So go for it. Reroll the ones. 10 or 12 hits. So I assume that's the unit dead, and the character is -3 of 1 wound. Saw the statistics there. It's a kind of weird interaction when you overkill characters. The trolls have taken the bait. They've turned around, so we're going to flank them with the tree ants. You can take a close range shot. Shooting into trolls is usually not a good idea because of their regeneration. They get 3 hits. I do no wounds. Even if I did wound them, they would end up just healing all of their wounds back for free at the end of the turn anyway. So start moving you up there. Yeah, regeneration. So this first. 8 of fantastic hit rolls from the tree ants doing marvelous damage. Just tearing them apart. Yeah, get out of here. And 5. Those trolls are about to be shown what a real monster can do. Can't reach them, they've just scurried out of range. Oh, I could recharge them with that unit. It's a pretty decent idea because if I break both of these units this turn, then I can just have them completely give up without having to... The way you can either break their morale, kill everything, or have every enemy unit routing at the same time. So this might be a coup de grace, a good way to finish them. It's a risk because if the Orc Warriors survive and somehow turn around and hit me, I sustain damage for no reason, but it's pretty minuscule. I can't use regrowth on anything. I can just it won't give me that one back no matter what I do, so don't worry about it. I can't shoot into anything, so I just run over here and see in case they hold on. You can flank later. 2 hits, 1 wound. Or 2 again. Trolls. They are brave enough to turn around though, so I'm gonna have to spend a heal on that unit. This one will surely break though. I lost by 4. There they go. So frustratingly, because the troll decided to all of a sudden grow a spine, I'm stuck in combat. I'm just going to ignore them because I actually want to prolong things because I need to see how much damage... Good, they rallied. It's actually convenient for me. I'm going to shoot them, but nothing else. I don't want them to break because I need to see how much damage my poor tree ant here takes. You can come over here and I guess you can recharge them next turn. Yeah, you can just about get there. And the archers, save that for now, because I'll take damage and I can put whatever damage I take back on. 3 hits, 2 wounds. So you see the wounds I'm doing aren't actually going through because they're just healing them at the end of each turn. I take no damage because I'm Ironheart, my tough as nails bark. So they actually do nothing. Brilliant. What was it all for, trolls? You could have just given up the first time. So I took a wound on a tree, but if you look, yeah, you get 1 back for free. So there you go. Dryads leveled again. Unit size, replenishment, or gold. I think just unit size. You can just make the unit bigger and make it do more damage. That's fine. With only replenishment of 2, though, it's going to take a jolly long time to get up there, but that's okay. And the riders leveled. Gold, discipline, or replenishment. None of those are particularly interesting, so I'll just take the gold. Whenever I press the gold button, I get +5 more. You're full HP, you're full HP, you're full HP. I'm about to go into a shop. Do I need more dryads? I mean, not particularly. I mean, I don't think I need that little extra sum of gold I'd get, so I'm happy just to take the... 11 is a good size because I kind of show off with these. So they're 2 different base size units for infantry. There's the small base size and the large base size. These small ones can stand 7 across, so they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Which the reason it's relevant is because you only get to fight in 2 ranks. So if I left it like this, that dryad back there wouldn't be able to attack. So I can do that. There you go. Now they all get to fight. So the ideal unit size for a dryad unit would be 12, because then you can't stretch it out to 7 across. That's fine. Archers are less concerned about fighting, so I'm just gonna make them as compact as possible because it makes it easier to maneuver around. Oh look, you can see the shields on my riders now when I picked it up. That's nice. I'm all happy with that. So we have another battle. Oh cool, we get another one before we go into the shop against an elf patrol. Our fellow elves are more arrogant, high elven cousins. First, we'll demonstrate them the error of being arrogant. Okay, so how do I want to do this? There's a unit of light cav like me, a unit of heavy cav, and a chariot. The chariot is almost no concern, so I think they like to pack the chariot and the heavy cavalry on one flank, so I need to guess which side it's on. It's going to be a bit of a hassle. I'd love to counter them with the treant, so I'll put the tough stuff on the flanks because they can just do that, and then maybe you in the centre. There you go, so that's, you can take care of that, no problem, so all of this stuff can focus on these. I can probably shoot the chariot to death before it ever actually gets to do anything, and then just allow the lancers to smack into the dryads because they're not going to achieve a whole lot, so... I'd love for that to move first because then I can get close range shots, so I just... I'd rather they go... Here I'd rather they go first because then I can get my counter charge, which matters because of their high defense, so... Yeah, I think I'll just move the treant up. I miss my charge, which is unfortunate, but I'm already power 6 their defense 2 anyway, so me charging makes no difference once that fight starts. When they shoot me, anything but a 1, I'm fine. Annoyingly, I wanted them to move one of these two, so I guess I'll do this one first. I'm short range though with my bow, so let's get pretty close to catch him. Not there, I need to angle this a bit better. That wood is getting in my way. Okay, I have to come further this direction. Not yet. I think I might muck this up a bit. There you go. Surely I can reach them now. Looks like it. There we go. Solid hit. Dealing wound. Yeah, you're definitely targeting that one, so what I'm hopeful for, if you just come forward and take a close range shot. 3 rolling 1s. Decent odds of killing it. Yes, we got a perfect 4 wounds. Chariot dealt with. Forward you come towards my dryads, who... I mean, I could take them head on, but honestly, like, just stepping backwards and letting these pulverize them would be a perfectly reasonable course. It's not a terrible idea, because I think they'll end up targeting these later. I'm more than tough enough to take this fight and win it. The reason I'm not going to do so is because the worst case scenario is this fight will happen, they lose and break, and then this fight happens and they break the same turn. I take a bunch of damage, but then the battle ends and I'm afforded no opportunity to heal the unit. Which would kind of suck, honestly, so I'm just going to forego combat for just 1 turn. And then we'll take it up later. If they stay on me, fine, I'll turn around and accept it. If they come from one of these, then I can flank them with the dryads. Yes, you're going to hit me there, you're going to lose. You have worse skill and have terrible hit chances. Me first. Okay, let's do this. 3 wounds from the dryad, that's not bad at all. The high skill in those is actually really good. Yeah, they're going to come this way. I don't know if he can reach, actually. I might have gone a bit too far. Not this turn, but maybe next turn. No damage from the archers. Now, of course, they're going to charge my riders. I don't want to accept that, but I have a solution. There's a way effectively around that for me. Get the archers out of the way. In fact, it would probably be easy for... I was tempting to let them charge my archers, but I might not be able to escape them, so I'm just going to leave that. Yeah, so they hit me 4 times. 2 up save. I take no damage because of their woeful power. If your defense is more than 3 greater than their power, you get... It's 2 up save. You only take damage on a 1 only. So yeah, they're basically going to bounce off me every turn consecutively. So they're going to declare a charge on me. I don't want to fight a big unit heavy cav head on, so I'm going to flee my light cavalry. Which annoyingly sends them pretty far this way. So again, I don't think the dryads are ever going to catch up even with my banner of swiftness. They rally, so I can just flee again if I need to. What I can really awkwardly do instead is I can actually put my archer unit into their back. Take the shot, of course, before I do so. Yeah. It's not ideal, for reasons obvious. I'd rather not fight them with an archer unit, but okay. Here we go again. I roll a 1 this time. Yeah, I'm still winning. I heal 1 for free, so I've effectively taken no damage this far. If I take more, I'll consider. Now, I could flee again, or I could rear charge them. I need to do a bit of... Am I liable to break that unit before it can turn around and hit me? We have equal skill. I have 11 attacks, effectively, because it's 9 plus 2 from Isabu, so hitting on 4s, I'd get 5.5 hits. Power 3, defense 5. I only do like 2 wounds, and then I get flank 3. They usually break mathematically, but it's not guaranteed, and then they turn around and hit me. I could just recharge them. Honestly, you're better off just fleeing this unit again. Gives me more time to shoot them and more time to hack away at them. Maybe the Treant can then engage them from the side if this unit breaks. Shame the unit I actually want to fight them are never going to get there. You can do more effective damage with shooting. Come on, you can eventually catch up. Maybe I can flee that unit and then get them into the side. No ones. Yeah, squash. Another Reaper dies. And they break, so I now can flank them there. Annoyingly, they get 4 attacks, so I'm just going to hold off. If they do damage to me and then the battle ends, I'm not going to be able to heal myself. They do what I thought they'd do, but that's a non-issue because I can just do this. I am safe. They rally, so I have to do something about that. If I could ignore them for a turn or two, what I might be able to do instead is eventually get the Dryads up here, so I'm going to have these target those because they're actually more annoying. Because they can shoot me, whereas these can't. They're only defense 4, so yeah, they're all dead. They take exactly 5 wounds. Well done. No need to heal it yet. And then come on, Dryads. Make your way up. Dance around the Lancer unit for a while. I was kind of hoping they would turn to face the archers. Never mind. I'm just trying to kill off this one. The reason I'm doing this is because... There you go, I managed it. When I charge them in the flank with the Treant, as I intend to do, they can't... They can only fight me with 1 guy rather than 2, so they basically lose half their attacks. Oh, honestly, need I... Kind of considering if I even need bother charging them at this point, they're just gonna... Yeah, it's just a waste of potential damage on the Treant. I think if I shoot them one more time, they'll move to wavering this turn. Sustain any damage, they'll give up. There you go, yeah. Single Lancer left. To be fair, he's very brave to hold on with only one of him left before he realised that probably time to go home. Oh, that's fine. So when you run units off the field like I did with the Riders, they're actually okay. They don't sustain any losses. So perfect way of doing that. Isabu Riverfall leveled again and gets the one I was hoping for. So extra wounds are fine. Coin counter is that flat sum of gold there. You get +5 extra, which is pretty negligible, or greater regrowth. So currently the regrowth spell only works on Forest Spirit, so I can only use it on the Treant and the Dryads, which is fine. I mean, that's the capacity I'm using as tanks. With greater regrowth, however, is upgrade to regrowth to target any unit. So if I happen to sustain casualties on my archers or the rider unit, fine, I can then heal those as well. The archers leveled. I'm going to start increasing the perks of bow mastery, so not great for now, just +5 ranged, which is okay. Increases both your long and short range relatively, but the one after that is the one we're really after. Gold is okay, we'll get that later, and then I don't need replenishment. I can heal everything now, and I'm not taking damage. The Treant leveled, which is cool. Wounds, attacks, or gold. I like the attacks, you can just make it more effective in combat. Because we're not exactly hard up for gold, are we? There we go. 477, so up or down, I would like to take this shot because it lets me go into the next battle. We get another woodland unit, fantastic. So another druid is hilarious because you can... Oh, that's really tempting. I can't afford both. Oh, what do you think? Either you can go double druid and heal spam the woodland units like crazy, or you can go with another Treant, and at which point you only have 2 heals, so you might not actually be able to make effective use of them in that regard. I'm not sure. That's a bit of a difficult one for me. I guess I could just buy Radiant Shield on this unit, so I've got other spells to kind of bolster the unit, so it's cheaper. You can do that and then still have 100 and still have loads of gold left. Are we liable to see another druid later on is the question. Probably not. I think we got pretty lucky to see him. Oh, I'm really torn there. I don't know how I'm going to handle that. It's just the other one that I will choose. Probably the Treant. I like the going full Forest Spirit this run. We'll put it all on the shoulders of Isabu Riverfall. I would take the Druid otherwise, but I think that seeing Radiant Shield there has decided it for me. So extra Treant, please, who immediately also gets an extra attack. It's a level on spawn. There's nothing to do. So then I'm going to buy this spell. Target unit rerolls fail saves. So it's a way I can bolster. I haven't got too many uses of regrowth because I'm forfeiting the other the druid, so we'll have to do that. So 132, I got what I wanted because I farmed out the other banners on the dryad unit. I can now buy the good one. So banner of 3, +1 power, so you up to power 6 from the charge, and curse standard. Unit has +1 attack once per battle, so a huge damage increase, which is great. I can't quite afford the curse standard on the Deepwood Riders, which is a shame because increasing their damage output the same way would be cool, but otherwise I'm perfectly happy. Banners of Valor is just reroll discipline. Their discipline's good enough, so we don't need that. Good. There's another Treant, so we're going all in on the tree unit. So it's this Ancient Bark Breaker accompanying the old Oak Spirit. I did. If you look closer, they actually have different models. I didn't know there were different Treant up for grabs. That's cool. So we're all in on the Forest Spirit run there. It's consistent. We managed to keep our word. If there is another Dryad later on, perfect. I'll pick that up because I think it's super in theme of our Forest Spirit spam. We're going first. Okay. Well, if you just want to run down here, because you can basically kill anything you come across in that direction, and then I can heal it. One of the Treants in the middle, one of the Treants in the side, and then you there to supplement, and you there to supplement. Yeah, Boar Riders, so you can face that on, and then you can face the Brutes. I could just shoot these to death. I'm going first. They're not actually going to reach me this turn, so I might as well just stomp forward. You will pretty effortlessly crush that unit in combat, I suspect. Right, can I flank that unit this turn? Or not quite. Can I escape them? No. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a turn positioning, and then next turn I can probably get around them with at least one of these units. Yeah, we'll do that later. You take a shot and then just scooch backwards. In fact, I'm going to start coming... Oh no, if I go too far, my initial plan was I was going to rush that way, but I think what would end up happening is they'll then lock onto the Treant and he'd be stuck in a front arc, which is not great. So I'll just do this for now, like so. Forward come their orcs. Let's just start shooting them. Get into short range. There we go. 10 of 12. They're good at 10 of 12. 6 of 10 already, so okay, that's not going to take very long at all. Reroll saves or heal things, so whatever we need to use when we need to use it. And then you start... Well, how's your movement? I could, if I want, I could already flank that unit. I didn't even realise I had that option. I guess I could, but the problem with doing that is that it then leaves these units with absolutely nothing to do. So I might as well just going to have you dedicate yourself to eventually flanking those Orc Warriors. This is an incredibly strong army for Act 1. We're doing very well. I guess it shows we've been taking basically no damage throughout the battles. So they've now inched forward, which now allows me, I think, to get into the side here. Oh yeah, no problem. That's that one taken care of. You want a piece of my Dryads. It's a shame I couldn't quite stay out of their charge range, because they go up to power 6 on the charge, which means they can actually hurt me. I guess I could use Radiant Shield on that unit. Yeah, just take... I mean, I'll use Curse Standard and break them. You can probably kill and completely execute those Orc Warriors now. Ah, there's one left. Lucky you. But he's already out of range, so don't worry about it. Yeah, that's an easy flank. Come over here and hit that in the side. Oh, you. Excellent. You can come over and shoot that one unit. See if you can finish him off. Can you get into short range? Yes, you can. Thunk. Roll a 1. Okay, so you counter there. And do this charge now while you have the chance. There's nothing to regrow this turn, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Radiant Shield on this Treant, so that they're rerolling saves, and the Dryads already passively reroll all their saves because of Divine Protection. I chose not to charge here because I was going to have a load of combats happening at the same time, and I wasn't going to be able to support all of them with spells. So if you kind of segregate them like this, then I can still... I knew I was going to easily be able to get around here and do my flank anyway, but it means that I have time to use a spell on one, and I can use Radiant Shield on you next turn. Or even better, I can just kite around this Orc Warrior unit because they're going to be forced to turn and face one of me, and the other one can rear charge rather than flank charge, so they don't get any attacks at all. So up to 2 attacks now because of Curse Standard, so this should be good. So they're power 6, unfortunately, so 5 up save, but re-rolling. So we take Yeah, 3 wounds. I can put that back. 17 attacks, hitting pretty well. Dealing very nice damage yet. They lose well beyond what a unit of Orc Brutes can handle now. And over here, Tren hits 4 times. And good power. Even with their high defense, they'll get hurt. They hit double 6, they hit well. But 2 up save, re-rolling, they do nothing. They break. Kind of in the way there. It's a bit awkward, but I will ignore that. You finish those off for me. And I'm just going to wait to see which unit they turn to face. That one. Okay. Interesting choice. You're going to get recharged and break anyway, so it's a question of... I'm going to wait to see if that Boar Rider unit rallies, because that actually informs my decision making, and then I could have one of you flank one and one of you rear the other one, so I'm just going to get you out of the way. They don't rally, they're going to keep running somewhere, so just ignore them for now. Shoot the Orc Warriors instead. Shooting them does matter because when you charge them in the back, for every rank they have, they get an extra point of discipline, so if you can do damage this way, then you mitigate them. I lost the Dryad, so I gotta put the Dryad back. And then you can... They're running anyway, so just stand here and engage these. There you go. Now they've got 2. So when I charge them and do a bit of wounds in combat, they'll go down to 1. Which should be easy to get through. I presume I just kill off the rest of it. There's An Brute left. Because they have slower movement speed than me because of the Banner of Swiftness. They don't escape my charge arc each time they run away. So they're just stuck here getting cycle charged to death over and over again. That's brilliant. We can just skip the rest for the most part. I'm just going to put the Treant there to engage them in the back in case they hold on. Spells, none of them are going to get hit and none of them need regrowth, so we're fine. Just going to hold the spacebar key to speed this up because it's pretty much academic. Yeah, you can't roll a 1 on 2 dice, I'm afraid. Perfect. No levels, but nearly there on a lot of units, so we're about to go into the Act 1 boss. Do I want the extra Dryad? I really don't need it, as you've noticed, and having the extra one is a bit annoying because we'll go to 13, which means we'd have 1 Dryad hanging around at the back of the unit, which increases my entire footprint by another flank or rank. It makes it very easy to flank me and harder to position, so no, I'll just stay as we are and take all the gold. Generating a lot of cash this run. It's the benefit of never having to heal anything, because you can heal in battle. Dryad's got... I wonder if you think he's a relative of Korgak? Those first, with melee armies like the Orcs, that's not too big a deal. So, what do you think? We'll have 1 unit come up. I'll put the Dryads in the middle because I want something... Which of you is the better Treant? That one's slightly stronger because he has better skill. So I'll have you dedicated to the flank on your own. And then these can all just sort of be... You could go maybe up that side. And then just in the middle here will do. Yeah, because we've got trolls and trolls, so I guess we're going to have the Treants fight the trolls head on. This stuff, you can easily crush a unit of Orc Warriors and Goblin mobs. Yeah, the Dryad's going to do me very well here. I think we have the exact same movement speed, so I'm never going to quite be able to outposition them, so that'll just do. This unit I think I'm going to dedicate to shooting to death, so I never have to engage it in combat. The smaller the unit, the better, because it's obviously faster to shoot through them. Nothing to spell this turn. And you can use... I think the Goblin... That unit is slightly faster than that one, so they'll get to about there, as long as you don't move too close. I don't think I can get into short range with this unit, I'm afraid. We'll take a long range shot. We hit everything anyway. Great. We're halfway there already. They've moved all their sentry. I'm going to pass. I'm going to see what they do. Do I have... I have better... No, the trolls slightly outdistance me in charge radius. I'd love to flank them. So just in case they're kind and give it to me, I'm going to maybe move you over to this side. Maybe they'll get into a position where I can squeeze into the side and hit them. We'll see. And then you... There's basically no chance of that happening here. I can't possibly get through. But I could hit them without them being able to charge me, which keeps them down at... I think it's the trolls charging me doesn't matter because they'll go up to power 6. And I'm defense 7 anyway, so I'll be saving on 3+, so honestly, who cares? I'll take that charge now because I can use Radiant Shield while no other spells are needed and I can make myself borderline invincible. I should be able to easily win that. So forward they come. Okay. I mean, I would be flanking that unit, but I might get stuck fighting the goblin mob instead. We'll see how they handle this. So I'll pass. Forward you come. Now I have to go. Well, I can obviously see that they aren't going to reach me this turn, so I'm just going to stand here and... How far can they get? I don't think they'll catch me, but maybe I should be just a little bit weary. 1, 2, 3. We'll use our Radiant Shield on Ancient Bark Breaker. I'm just going to move a bit this way in case that Orc Warrior unit springs a bit too far forward. Okay, they got... So, I'm going to... It depends who charges first. If they charge first, the Goblin Mob is going to hit me before I can declare a charge on this unit. And then I'm going to kill it. If I get to charge first, I get to declare here. I'm fairly certain, I'm afraid, because I charged first here, they're going to have initiative in this charge phase. In which case they're going to charge me with that one. Unless I give them the fight over here with the trolls, which I might be able to do. So, because there's no way I can position my way in such a way that I can both escape the Goblin Mob and still fight them. So I'm going to stand there. Regardless of which of these units I get, I'll win, no problem. You just shoot that unit and then I'm going to get into short range. And then withdraw to safety. You roll double one anyway. I'm just going to back away from those so we don't fight them. There we go. Good, that actually might give me my flank here. Okay, so I get... It's a trade-off. So I get what I want here. I get my flank and beat the trolls, no problem. In exchange for I'm not going to be able to tie up that unit the way I would have wanted to. Alternatively, I could charge the Goblin Mob, kill it no problem, and then turn... When these are failing to catch me here, I can then just hit them in the back with the Dryad. So I think that's a fair compromise. Over here, good hit roll, good damage, killing a troll outright. Hit 5 times and they get 3 up save re-rolling, so 2 wounds is no wounds, you just lose. And yet they are faster than me though, so I have to spend the turn running after them. You can, yeah, they charged first, so ordinarily I can't, if I went for, basically front charges being intercepted is if I got to declare first, that would be a shorter line than that line, so they wouldn't be able to stop me. But no, they get there, so fine, I'll take one. And you can get rid of those trolls. They're going to... Interesting. That's actually one of the most annoying things they could have done. If that unit of Forest Spirits wins, I'm not going to be able to counter those Orc Warriors. I don't think there's any real way around that for me. I'm going to use this now because I'm not really liable to get any more use out of it. You're going to get shot to death, don't worry. So I just need to wait for them to move. Can I... I'm not going to be able to get you around in time is the issue, so I think I'm better off. If I'm brave, I could assume I can shoot the brutes to death and then put my archers here and flank them. Use Radiant Shield on myself and regrowth myself if I lose a couple archers, thereby... Oh, I say that. They're defense 5, they get to reroll their saves. I'm not really going to take any damage, so I think I might as well just let it happen. It's weird to say, but I'm actually going to allow them to flank charge me. I think the unit is that tough, I can just ignore them. So the brutes are dead already. Do I want to Radiant Shield something? They're already rerolling saves. You're not likely to take a lot of damage. Even if you take 1 wound, you heal it. If I take 2, I can heal later. So I'm going to save my Radiant Shield. Forward you come. Great. I guess I could flank them with this. Ah, that's not a terrible idea either. I could just get out of their range and then flank them with that unit. Use Radiant Shield on them so they can't do too much damage. And if I lose one, I can regrowth it. They're still running, so they'll run straight off the field, so I'll have you come this way. Can't quite get there yet. Okay, we're going to absolutely masticate the poor Goblin Mob, so 3 up save, re-rolling. Okay, they don't convert single save, so I need to regrowth that unit now. But they lose 8 goblins, so away with you. And over here, the Treant, yeah, does good. Takes 2 wounds, which is annoying, so I'll have to heal that one as well. Okay, I don't particularly want to take any more damage because I want to use my 2 regrowths on that one and that one. So if I charge this in, I'll take 4 attacks. They'll hit on 4+, they get an average of 2 hits. They'll be power 4, I'll be defense 4, so they get an average of 1 wound. But then I get to reroll that wound, so they get an average of 0.5 wounds. So I've got 2 each, so I'm incredibly unlikely to lose a Deepwood Rider, so I'm going to do it. I think I'd be very unlucky to lose one there. That's all okay. Shame if you just rolled just one save off the reroll, I would have managed to conserve one of my regrowth spells. Those dealt with, great. So I have 2 now. Realistically, the goblin mob isn't going to be able to turn around, so I'll just put that one back on them now, and I can save 1 for and make a choice between either regrowthing that unit if I have to, or regrowthing the treant over here. Start waddling his way back over. Alright, let's break him in a turn. Good hit roll to start. Good damage, yeah, that's excellent wounds. They get their 2 hits as predicted. They do 1 wound. Fine, I don't sustain any casualties. Please go away. They break. Perfect outcome. Yeah, the goblins get smashed. Roll a 0, I dare you. No charges for now, I'd rather shoot them. Interesting, you're after my riders. Well, let's see who rallies where. I'm just going to move this unit first. You actually get into the back arc already. So the big block rally, so they're going to get charged in the back, so I think I would prefer to shoot that one. Regrowth now. No, I'll conserve it. I've got a couple turns to play with. They're going to keep running, so they'll just run away. Don't worry about those. So let's instead get the Dryad sort of out of the way. Yeah, already said I'm going to start getting you around. Somebody will eventually be able to get a rear charge on this unit, and I don't want it to be the riders, because it runs the risk of them holding on in combat, turning around and then hitting me. This I'm happy to take because it's my max strength treant, old oak spirit. I'm not going to be able to hit me back anyway, so go for it. Face the wrath of an oak tree. Notoriously angry oak trees, as we all know. There you go, now the Dryad's got their rear charge there. They use their extra power. It's not really going to help because they're not going to be able to attack backwards, so that achieves basically nothing. But just in case they rout this turn, in case that unit runs away, I'm going to regrowth now. So I get my wounds back, because it might be over this turn. Everyone else can just, I don't know, just take the shot there. Damage, fine. They're going to be, if they try charging me, they won't be able to move because they're going to get flanked by an angry Dryad unit. Yeah, squash, squash. They break again. Routing this turn, so it doesn't matter what we do. Apart from, of course, making it so that this unit can't hurt my poor riders. So it's an intercept charge, either flanked or reared. They're still running. There's no point in doing anything else. I mean, Radiant... What? Okay, so they're now Divine Protection and Radiant Shield. Unfortunately, it doesn't stack. You don't get to reroll twice. You get a double reroll. Still. Feels good just to be helpful, doesn't it? I'll lend you moral support in the form of magic. And then you can just have a magic spell that just makes you feel better. A couple more levels, the Dryads again. Very good. Now with these, because of the difficulty in replenishing them, I might actually consider the replenishment and a more unit size later. But for now, it's still early on in the campaign. We have a lot more fights to go, so I'm actually going to take the gold, because I'll be pressing the gold button a lot on these. As you've noticed, we're not sustaining a lot of resting, so that's going to add up to a lot over the course of the campaign. And then the Deepwood Outriders leveled can also start increasing their bow mastery, and with their limited range, it's not terrible. I don't really need the extra cash, so I'll just go with a bit of combat potency. Everyone's healthy. Press the gold button. Yeah, we're going to have... This is going to be a very, very high gold run. So go. I'm incredibly happy with that as far as Act 1s go. We've got through it while sustaining, I think, a single Dryad casualty throughout the whole thing. So, yeah, great. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If so, please do like and subscribe. It massively helps out the channel, and I do appreciate it. And as I said, it's the only mechanism anyone has to possibly seeing Sovereign content. It's a baby game with one developer, but you can see that it's got real legs. It's very addictive. It's very fun, and I do like to kind of spread it around. So if you have any notes for what you'd like to see in terms of future Sovereign runs, well, obviously we'll finish this one, the max difficulty, the Forest of Death walks across the earth. Otherwise, it's you can let me know if there are any characters or army builds in particular you'd like to see for max difficulty, or if you just want to chat with me and others, that's great too. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.